I am going to be going over plugins real quick. For this video, we are going to be using the turael skipping plugin. I like to have my turael skipping color set to red just so you can see all the turael mobs really bright, but you can set it to whatever you want. At certain points in the video, I am going to be using the ground items plugin, scrolling all the way to the bottom of the plugin and then selecting deprioritize menu hidden items. I'm only going to be using deprioritize at certain points in the video, and I'll let you know when I'm using deprioritize later on. I also use the NPC aggression timer for this just to tell me when I need to reset my aggro for worms and frost dragons. Also, I would highly recommend using the watchdog plugin and then importing this code that gives you a little info box notification when your slayer task is done, because you are going to be doing a lot of turael skipping, so having an alert that notifies you on your screen is really nice. You're going to go into your sidebar where you see the little watchdog bell, go all the way to the bottom, click import, and paste the code in there. The paste bin will be in the description below. For those of you who don't know, dragon metal sheets from frost dragons and worms are an incredibly more common rate on task than off task. You want to make sure you have a bunch of bracelets of slaughter and expeditious bracelets, so I'm going to go ahead and chop a whole bunch of opals and a whole bunch of topaz and put them together into bracelets, and we'll be on our way. If you're enjoying this guide so far, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps a lot for making future videos and motivating me to continue making them. So like, subscribe, and share with a friend or share with your clan server if you're really feeling pretty cheeky. This guide will take about 800 to 1,000 Slayer points. If you still need those 500 to 1,000 Slayer points, I'd recommend watching a Konar or Mazda boosting guide and then coming back to this video once you have 500 to 1,000 points. And yes, even after all this setup, setting up your block list, setting up your jewelry, everything, it is going to be definitely more efficient in the long run to get this all set up instead of just doing frost dragons off task. If you're going to pay attention to any part of the video, I would recommend paying attention to this one. This is the most important part of the entire video. I'm going to go over my unlocks and block lists for both Slayer Masters. You want to make sure you don't have any extra tasks unlocked, so I'll just scroll through here and explain exactly what you should have on and off. A lot of these don't matter. I'm just going to explain which ones really do. You want to have Watch the Bird off, Chazar off, Like a Boss off, Shaman's off. You want to have Stop the Wyvern on, but if you can't afford this with Slayer points, you don't feel like boosting for it, that's okay. This isn't totally necessary. It's just going to make it a tiny bit less efficient, but it's totally fine. Have Basilocked off, Vampires off, Warped Reality off, Aquanites off, and Griffins off. Now for extensions, the only extension that's going to matter is the can of worms at the bottom, because you can't extend frost dragons, and the only tasks that we're hunting for are worms and frost dragons. So go ahead and extend your worm task, and that's all that's going to matter for the extended tasks. Now let's go to the block list. So basically what we're going to be doing here is blocking the top 7 weighted tasks that aren't frost dragons and worms. The bottom 5 are absolutely non-negotiable in this method. You want the bottom 5: Araxites, Dark Beasts, Abyssal Demons, Metal Dragons, Hellhounds, all blocked no matter what. These are the highest weighted tasks that you can get. The top 2, you can replace these for other tasks that are weighted 9, but you are going to want to keep these as weighted 9 tasks just to make this as efficient as possible. Also, if you have task storage, I would highly recommend it. It's only 500 points now, and it's super worth it for this, so you can just skip down for 2 tasks in a row and then do 2 worm tasks in a row. It's really comfy. And here's our Aya block list. I would say the top 4 are absolutely non-negotiable. You do absolutely have to block these top 4. They're all pretty terrible, like time to complete tasks for Aya. And then these bottom 3 are more optional, totally up to you. Look through her task list if you want on the wiki and decide which ones you want. I hate getting to Ice Fiends, I don't like doing bats, and I don't like the bear tasks, so this is my block list for Aya for me. Again, I would highly recommend definitely blocking these top 4. This Aya block list will make your skipping process a lot more comfortable and a lot quicker. So what I'm going to do right now, I already have 1 worm task I skipped down for. I'm going to go ahead and swap out my worm task for my Drake's task, and then go ahead and turael skip down and go over bank tab layouts with you guys. Okay, so this is going to be our new turael skipping bank tab layout. If you do want to just go ahead and import my bank tab layout straight into your client, I'm going to go ahead and put the paste bin down below in the description. You can click that link, copy the code, and then right click your bank tab layout on the top left here and click import. It will automatically import my bank tab layout into your client at the very bottom. Do that, and then whatever items you don't have in my layout, you can right click remove and then just drag yours in there. So if you don't have Missouri blowpipe, you can replace it with Bofa. You could replace it with melee gear if you want. This is going to be a very efficient inventory, but you can always replace this with like a whip or whatever you're going to kill stuff fast with. Whatever, it's going to be a little bit less efficient, but like you don't need absolutely every item in here. Right now I'm going to be going over what I use all these items for. If you want to skip ahead to the rest of the video, go ahead, but I'm just going to go over what I use these for. Cannonballs, obviously cannoning. Expeditious bracelets for making the tasks go faster. Dins I use sometimes, but not very frequently, just for attracting all mobs for using the Venator. Venator bow for making the tasks go faster. Cannon for obvious reasons. Max cape for teleportation. I would replace this with a con cape or just house tabs. Eternal Slayer ring. If you don't have an Eternal Slayer ring, I'd probably just use the fairy ring to the Slayer tower. The achievement dagger cape is specifically for the spider task in Draenor, so you teleport and hit G to Twiggy and Draenor, run east. Ectophile is for both birds, cows, and ghosts. I have the Skull Scepter set to shift click invoke to go to the Minotaur's task. The Chronicle is for if I get a bird's task and feel like going and killing ducks very efficiently. So you can go here and kill ducks really quick, and it's a lot faster than doing the Ectophile. The Grand Seed Pod is for clicking the Grand Seed Pod teleports you here. You set your left click to top floor, and then your left click on here to the Ook place, and you get here real quick. You're here, and you go down, and this is for your monkey's task. The Ring of the Elements is only if you have bats on, but I have bats blocked, so I don't really use this. The rune pouch should have cosmics, astrals, and air runes for NPC contact. An herb sack because there are quite a few turael mobs that do give herbs, so it's just nice to pick those up along the way. The Desert Amulet you actually use for the Calphite teleport. Whenever you get a Calphite task from Turael, use the Calphite teleport to quickly get here and set up your cannon there. 2 ranging potions just to boost your DPS while you're Turael skipping. Place these with strength potions if you're using a whip or something. And a stamina potion just in case you run out of energy at any point while you're doing this super fast. Okay, so right now I have a Drake's task. I'm basically just going to go through how I go about Turael skipping. So I just go ahead, cast NPC contact, talk to Aya. You hit spacebar 1, spacebar, just go through, keep hitting spacebar and 1, and then she ends up giving you a new task. Look at your Turael skipping plugin, and at the very top, it's always going to tell you the most efficient teleport, so you hit your diary cape and hit D. Venator bow is very useful in most of these tasks. A lot of mobs like these rats and spiders can be very hard to see in the game. It just helps to have your Turael skipping plugin set to something that's really bright. You see the watchdog notification right there, task done. That kind of helps. You know, sometimes you can zone out and not realize that you completed a task, so doing that watchdog import from earlier really helps. I recommend that. PC contact, and then choose Kuradal, and she'll give you a task. Hope that it's either worms or frost dragons. It's not, and then we go straight back to Aya. The only thing you really want to pay attention to is making sure your expeditious bracelets are still on, and you pretty much just repeat this process until you get worms or frost dragons. It should only take you about 15 or 20 minutes if you're doing this pretty efficiently. I already did the calculations on the wiki, and you get about a 7.9% chance of getting either a worms task or a frost dragon task, so it should only take you about 12 or 13 skips on rate. Of course, there's going to be some times where you do about 30 or 40 tasks and you're just going super dry on a task. That's going to happen, but there's going to be other times, like last night on stream, I got almost back-to-back tasks. I got one, stored it, and then did a few more Turael tasks and got another worms task. So sometimes you're going to spoon the task, which is really fun, and then sometimes you're going to go dry. So that little bit of it is kind of fun, just doing more RNG. We got cows again, so like, see, funny RNG things can happen like that, where you get the same task back to back when you skip, so you're already here. You don't even have to teleport anywhere. It just makes it even more efficient. Put the cannon back down and you're good to go. You could also, if you need Slayer XP, like as you're doing this, you could also do the Slayer tasks that you want to do for Slayer experience. Like if you get a Necreel task or whatever, as a mid-game Iron, I would probably just do those tasks just because it's good Slayer experience, but you know, you could keep skipping too. It's up to you. See, like you can even place a cannon down in here, and I always forget that. Just remember, every Turael spot you go to, remember to set up your cannon, because it does make it go a considerable amount faster. You should complete a rat's task in probably under 30 seconds once you get here if you use a cannon. This is a very like active activity, I would say. But once you get your frost dragon and your worm tasks, then it is a very AFK activity, so it's kind of fun that way. The Turael skipping part of it is very active, and then the worm and frost dragon tasks are very chill and AFK, so you kind of get a nice balance between both. Oh shit! Let's go! We got frost dragons! Oh, 94 of them too, that's huge. Hell yeah. We are first going to do our worm task, so I'm going to go over my worm task first. If you would like this exact bank tab layout, I will put the paste bin in the comments below so you can copy and paste that import right here. So getting to lava strikeworms, they are on the charred island, which is really easy to get to. If you don't have a teleport focus, that's okay. You just charter to Corsair Cove, recover your boat here, and drive south. If you do have a teleport focus, you could always minigame teleport to the pest control, go over to the dock, and cast the teleport boat spell to teleport your boat here, and then just drive south to here. And if you have a greater teleport focus, you can dock your boat here once you get here, and then keep your boat here to teleport back to it later. You can build a bank chest right here. It takes 4 ironwood planks, 2 adamant bars, 2 copper nickel bars, and 1 magic stone. I would highly suggest it if you don't have a greater teleport focus. You will be running back and forth to the bank here for trips. And this is going to be our entire inventory for lava strikeworms. This is all I bring in. I don't bring any food with SGS and Death's Charge and Sinister Offering. I get a ton of prayer back and health. You pretty much never need food with SGS Death's Charge. If you don't have SGS Death Charge, then I would just bring some Karam ones with you as well. I bring 1 anti-fire because there are some dragons that you have to run by, and I have been killed by one of them once, so now I bring an anti-fire because I'm scarred. Yeah, I just bring 5 prayer pots, 1 extra slaughter bracelet, and you should pretty much use all of these resources by the time you're done with your trip, except for the anti-fire. So by the time you're done with your trip, you've filled your entire inventory up with alchs. You come back here, bank, and then get this same layout back out and go back. Now with this layout, you will be picking up bones and casting Sinister Offering for about 45k prayer an hour. I would highly recommend doing this if you want prayer experience. It's super worth it. If you don't feel like being that active with the bones, I would recommend it though, because it is really good prayer experience. But if you really feel like vibing out and not caring about the prayer XP, you can use either a Bone Crusher necklace for a ton of prayer bonus and prayer back, or you could just have a Bone Crusher in the inventory to automatically bury the bones as well. You get 45,000 prayer experience an hour while you're getting 30 to 35,000 Slayer experience per hour. So really, really nice prayer XP alongside the Slayer XP. And now once you're here, if you have NPC aggression timer on, you'll have a 10-minute timer to just completely AFK with piety on, use the SGS whenever you want, or eat whenever you need. You don't get really hit that often, so you don't really need to worry too much. I usually just AFK for about 3 or 4 minutes here and pick up any dragon metal sheets and items. You do want to be on stab with DHL. They are weak to water, so you could potentially do like water wave or something. Whatever is your best DPS, figure that out. DHL is of course going to be the best. And now you're just rolling in the tech, you guys. This is it. Like, this is 200 to 250, maybe 300 kills an hour. They're 1 in 100, so we're going to get about 2 or 3 sheets an hour here while we're on task. And if you're using Bone Crusher or Bone Crusher necklace, you really can just like pray piety and AFK for 5 minutes and just pick up any dragon metal sheets. You could make this super AFK if you really want. You're likely going to get about 300 worms by the time you're done with this, which is a shitload and totally worth turael skipping down for. It's a lot of worms. Superior here, you can just pray melee against these guys. So pray melee, and then when they dig underneath you, just move about 3 tiles. He's going to move, we're going to go 3 tiles, and you attack him. And that's it. You do want to make sure you always have a bracelet of slaughter on. It is very worth it using this. 1 in every 4 will be extended. Really nice 25% chance. So I'll put my loot tracker right now. Take a picture of it right now and put it on screen for you guys to see sort of what the loot's looking like. I'm a tiny bit dry on dragon sheets right now, but it is starting to catch back up to rate. But you can expect a ton of alchs from this. I actually bank about 2 or 3 times throughout a task just to bank all of the rune items and stabs that we get. You actually get a ton of alchs. So now we are going to go over our frost dragon layout. I'm going to be sharing this layout in the description below as well. If you want to import this, there'll be a paste bin below where you copy it and import it in the top left here. You can always replace any items you don't have with your own. My frost dragon layout is incredibly simple. The goal with my frost dragon layout is to use all of these resources by the time you're done with the inventory. So you should be left with just your bank teleport in the top left and then an inventory full of bones. And we're just going to fairy ring to DLP, however you can fairy ring to DLP and a bank teleport. for it. Frost dragons really aren't that bad anymore. They made the spawn rates faster and they added a lot more of them, so it's really not that hard to find a world anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and pop one anti-fire and one super combat potion with the DFS or anti-dragon shield. If you want to use a Vernic for more DPS, you can. You'll just have to use an extended super anti-fire or a super anti-fire. And these now on task are a 1 in 55, so this is actually pretty common. In this task we should on rate see 2, like 1.8, so we should see around 1 or 2 on this task. And this task will only take us like 30-40 minutes, so if you do end up using all your food and you're not done with your trip, you can always just put protect from melee on and AFK. They only do melee damage and dragon fire damage, so that's it. You can just recline. This is my best setup for melee, but if you don't have THL, I'd recommend using like Dragon Hunter Wand or Fire Surge. A lot of people use Mage in like safe spot, so you can do that as well. This is just my preferred method because I like to just melee and recline, and it's my best DPS. I will put my loot tracker for Frost Dragons on the screen right now as well, but I will say I only started doing turael skipping to have them on task recently. I did the majority of them off task, so I've only recently started getting the juicy XP drops, and I will say, or the juicy drops, and it is very noticeable, I will say. It is a night and day difference of how often you get dragon metal sheets compared to before, for sure. I will say, depending on how efficient you are with skipping and how efficiently you can kill worms and frost dragons, this guide will get you anywhere from 1.5 to 3 dragon sheets per hour on your Ironman, depending how efficient you are. If you're like max gear, everything doing this super efficiently, super efficient turael skipping, you're gonna get around probably 2 to 3 dragon sheets an hour. In 1 hour and 15 minutes, you should be able to find a task and do most of your task for about 2.5 sheets, so it's about 1.5 to 3 sheets in an hour, depending on how active you are. I will be streaming this live on my Twitch channel all day and night today, and probably for the next week, probably. So if you're curious of watching me do this method live just to ask questions or whatever, check out my Twitch channel in the description below and come hang out with us. It's a good time. Make sure to like and subscribe. It helps a lot for the video and helping make future videos. And thanks for watching. I hope this guide helped somebody, and you guys have a great day.